is for us to host the forthcoming president of Kenya so that we can escort him to Kasarani for the Ashimio Umoja.
Hii si mambo ya mchezo. Hatutaki mtu mmoja awe ndiye anayesema peke yake bila sisi kusema, kwa sababu Mungu ametupatia nchi hii, ni yangu, ni yako, ni ya sisi sote pamoja. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuamshana, watu wetu waendelee sawa sawa. Hatutaki mtu ambaye wanataka kufanya vyao peke yao. Sasa ninataka mfungue macho kabla mwezi wa 8 kufikia, mtuongoze. Tunataka umoja.
Now we must speak from here and move forward to ensure that there is continuity and do better than has been done. So I just want to conclude by thanking you for what you guys are doing here. Tell you that we are together with you, but I'm not going to respond to the requests until Friday. On Friday, mimi nitatoa jawabu.
So Dr. Jikal, Raila Odinga is saying that atatoa jawabu on Friday. So really, it's not about a declaration of what he said. There's something bigger than that. But also, there were several leaders in that meeting, including some 4 cabinet secretaries, some principal secretaries, and chief administrative secretaries. And the declaration, the resolutions were read by Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, which I want us to listen to so that we can embark on this conversation.
We have also witnessed what corruption can do to an economy, and cannot imagine a Kenya where looters are in charge. Our economy-related issues are complex and cannot be reduced to a mere slogan, catchy phrases, or handouts. That Azimio la Umoja guarantees the continuity of the legacy and the projects implemented by President Uhuru Kenyatta. That the people of Mount Kenya have no confidence in sweet-talking people who want to take advantage of our problems and use them as fodder for electioneering without offering concrete solutions.
All right, and Dr. James Nyikal, I want to give that opportunity now to reorganize your comment. And how significant is the endorsement yesterday, even as Raila Odinga is expected to declare his interest in the presidency?
As I said earlier, when we were on KTN with Honorable Didmus Barasa here, as it said, I said that we are going to have a declaration of unity. And I said it could be bigger, and me, I would be happy if Raila declared his presidency. Now, what he has said is that he's going to make a decision tomorrow, and that all the issues that have been raised, he'll answer tomorrow. I was in that function. Therefore, I think it's very appropriate what he has said. What people are asking for, was saying, if you get into power, these are the things we would like for the betterment of our region. I think it's quite right that before you actually come out and publicly declare that I'm running for this, I'm going to be this, I want to be this, you cannot then answer those questions because you will be preempting what you are going to do. If you said yes, you are looking for cabinet posts, I will offer those. You have already declared before you get to the function tomorrow. So I think when the function comes tomorrow, we are all expecting that he'll do more than just declaring the unity for Kenya. I think unity for Kenya may be actually one great strategy. The biggest enabler of development is actually unity and peace. So if you start with that as your starting point, then you say where you want to go with your vision for the country. That's a good thing to do. Now, after you have declared that vision and how you want to get it, including declaring that you're going to be a presidential candidate, if he does, then you can now answer people who are asking you what you can do for certain areas when you are in that position. I think the Right Honorable Prime Minister was absolutely right that I will answer that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
But the significance of that endorsement by those businessmen and some of the cabinet secretaries that were in attendance?
If you realize what Honorable Raila has been saying every time he's been going out, he's saying, niendelee au nisiendelee. Actually, the position has been, he's been going around and gauging the mood and expressing his visions for Kenya. Having your visions for a country does not necessarily mean that you have said, I'm going to lead, but it indicates that you may want to. Now, if that has been interpreted and people come and say, we support your vision, and if you are to declare and get there, this is what we would like you to do.
Okay.
I think, to me, it is all in order because we don't want to really preempt what is going to happen tomorrow. Even if we think very strongly that this may happen, you have to let it come, and then we can come here and discuss this what we say. But that's a good sign. If you've been saying, I want to know where I stand with people before I make this final decision, this meeting of yesterday is therefore very, very, very important when people tell you, we have faith in you. All of us in politics, Senator, Honorable Didymus Baraza here, even when you start indicating that you have political intentions, a lot of people come and encourage you and tell you, you should, this is a way, and if you do, we will support you.
All
so
right.
I think that is extremely important. The event of yesterday is extremely important in that context.
All right, and Honorable Didymus, so when you reflect on especially the messages that were coming from that event, and we know your persuasion that you are backing Deputy President William Ruto, do those views and those issues that were raised capture the imagination of yourself and your political persuasion, and how does this endorsement affect your campaign in the region?
One, I want to be clear that this group, they have already made up their mind that the candidate is Raila Odinga. And when it comes to voting, every vote matters, regardless of whether the person voting is a rich person or is a poor person, regardless of what that person do, the votes will be counted as one. And I therefore don't see so much difference between this group of Mount Kenya Foundation and the very many groups that we politicians meet on day-to-day basis, border people, some women with women groups who are coming to see with me. But eventually, this type of doing politics where self-appointed groups purport to bargain on behalf of the community is what we call attempting to hawk the community to the highest bidder. I say so because for this meeting to reflect the wishes of the majority of the people from Mount Kenya, they must begin this meeting from grassroots, that they will get the views from the people who are living in the villages on what they want, so that when they meet presidential candidates, they are actually advancing what they have been told from the ground. And listening to speaker after speaker, they will tell you that they are actually targeting William Ruto. When you read the body language of Peter Munya, who is supposed to be impartial because he's a civil servant. No, we have sunk too low as a country, where civil servants are being boxed into a corner somewhere. And instead of advancing the interest of the Kenyan people, they are advancing the interest of certain individuals who may not necessarily reflect what this country needs. And I want to tell you, as I wrap up on this discussion, that your goal defines the means to achieve it. While as we are saying that our agenda is bottom up, is to actually to begin from the people who are living at the bottom of the pyramid. It's becoming apparently clear that Raila Odinga and his team are still engaged in the trickle-down mentality. That's why they are meeting the billionaires, the millionaires from Mount Kenya region, while us we've been meeting the mama mbogas, the people who live below the bottom of the pyramid, because it's by associating with the people that want to improve their life that you will tap into their wisdom and their intelligence on how best these people want to be led. The billionaires may want to, all they want is a business environment where they can continue thriving their businesses. And the Dr. Njikal and I know.
Don't they have a stake in the management of affairs of a country in the region they come from?
Yeah, they have a stake, but their stake will never and cannot override Mama Mboga, cannot override a border rider. In terms of positioning yourself for proper leadership, it's not a reserve of those who have money alone. And I want to, Dr. Njikal knows that the people who have let down this country are the rich people, those who frequent KRA offices, applying for tax waivers, those who avoid paying taxes. They are the one that makes the government go deeper into the pockets of the common mananchi, Mama Mboga, to get the money and run government affairs. If you get the records of the Kenyans who have
let me just be clear,
who have evaded taxes.
You said tax avoidance, and I'm just wondering what's the problem with that if it's done within the law. I thought the problem should be tax evasion. And when they go asking for tax waiver, isn't it allowed within business environment to lobby so that the success of the business?
It's allowed in law for them to succeed in business. That's why we are saying that we must also ensure that the people who live at the bottom of the pyramid also get similar lifeline. You know, they pay. You know, you go to Kiambu market on a market day, the county government will come. Those Mama Mboga who are selling small groceries, small things, they will be picked, all of them being put in a lorry, taken in custody somewhere else. So that's why we are saying that we have been engaged in this trickle-down mentality for a very long time, and the time has come where we must also begin with the people who are living below the bottom of the pyramid.
If some of these small-scale traders are not remitting the levies they're supposed to be paying to their local authorities, what would you suggest to be done, and what does UDA want to do?
Let me tell you, my friend, there are two things which the government needs to do. You need to widen the tax base, create more entrepreneurs. So when we have got many small, micro and medium enterprises, then the contribution is going to be much bigger than what we are doing now. That is what we are supposed to do
my question
as a country.
Didmas, you're saying that some of these small-scale traders are not paying the levies they need to pay.
You know, we want to grow these small businesses. SMEs are a very fragile economy. So when you want to enable the fragile economy grow, you don't overtax it. These people are overtaxed. And they are overtaxed because the bigger players are not remitting their taxes.
Reduced or scrapped?
You know, we need to come up with some levels. I don't expect Mama Mboga who is selling his grocery worth 50 shillings to be told to pay 100 shillings. I do not expect a small-scale trader who has worth of stock worth 2,000 shillings being told to pay 5,000 license. So we must have those analyses on how much taxes a particular trader is supposed to pay, depending on what this person does.
Okay, all right. Senator, so
yes.
Looking at the issues that came up from that meeting yesterday, do they represent the views of the larger populace of Mount Kenya region? You're a senator, so you would know, because it's quite expansive.
Yes, some. Why don't we first get a few things right? The first few things I think we would need to get right is that, yes, you see in that meeting, there were cabinet secretaries and other you would call them functionaries, if you like, government. But let's remember that this was a Mount Kenya Foundation meeting. This was not a state function. Yeah. So those people appearing there would by all means interpreted and by perception. They appeared there in their individual capacities, and so.
That is, you mean the ministers?
That was not a state function, and so it has to be clear that that was a meeting called by the Mount Kenya Foundation. And so the only way they would have gone to participate in those meetings was in their private capacity. It's important to clear that, so that we distinguish. Now, and the other reality, Sam, that I think we need to wake up to is that this is campaign time. And if you want to know that the bell has rung, remember that as from tomorrow you cannot attend Harambis if you are running for any office. So the bells, as the jingle bells ring for Christmas, have rung for the elections. And so actions that are taken by people with political interest moving forward now must be read and interpreted as so. So it should not be any surprise that you find people now will engage in pure politics. The other point I would want to make as I come to your question is that you see, I was saying earlier, and you took it from me and said, you know what I'm trying to say without saying it. When I say that the field now defines itself in political competition, and what is clear, Sam, is this, that moving forward in this race, in the competition, there are now likely two candidates who are front runners. That is Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. And that's how it's panning out. It's how it's shaping out. Yeah. So can we bring out the issues as they are now? Because those two being the main contenders who are now showing pace, that they'll be the ones gunning for that tip. Everything else that happens around them now matters, and every person they can get to their boat or to their side matters, and they will not stop at anything. So this endorsement by Mount Kenya Foundation must be also interpreted for what it is. Indeed, yes, the Mount Kenya Foundation group are from that region. They represent interests of people within that region, because they have businesses there, they have grown up there, they have got families, they've got connections, and so you cannot ignore the fact that they have a substantial following within Mount Kenya region, that they can influence indeed Mount Kenya region. That is not to say that they carry the entire of the Mount Kenya region. That would be a falsehood. To purport that they carry the entire of the Mount Kenya region's perception. And indeed, if you ask me how I read the political game now moving forward, between those two especially, is that this is going to be a fight to the wire, if you like. It is going to be a fight to the wire, and it will count and depend on so many things that each of those candidates will do to win. As for the Mount Kenya region, if you ask me what is really happening, I come from there, I know. And we are clearly now in two camps, as it is. I mean, as far as those two candidates are concerned, because there's a big grouping following Raila Odinga, as you saw yesterday, and the deputy president has been in Mount Kenya region. So you've also seen that he's got a following with people. He's got members of parliament, others, and his meetings are packed also, just like Raila did, and so. It is not useful, if we want to interpret and read the situation as it is, to give the wrong impression that any of those two candidates within Mount Kenya region has got the following that would probably mean that they've carried the day as of now. And that's what I want to circle to now that question that you asked of the issues that came out. And my belief is that out of those two frontrunners, the person who will be closest able to address the issues that affect the people of that region as it is, and remember, Sam, you cannot ignore the fact that within the Mount Kenya region community, within that area and outside, commands a huge say in how election outcomes turn out finally. There are now close to almost 7 million plus, if not 8 million votes within that place. And so it matters. Indeed, can I say with humility that it is most likely that the person who is able to woo Mount Kenya region end carry the bigger chunk of it is most likely to be president. Because it is maybe not likely that we are going to be having a front runner ourselves as it is right now from Mount Kenya region. The roles have turned, and I think this time we will be the kingmaker in this case. And if that, you know, I'm talking numbers here. I can see the look you're giving me.
Not true. You're talking about numbers.
To suggest maybe I could be saying things that
that's fine. You know, Senator.
Yeah.
Many leaders in the region have already taken sides. We don't know where you lie, but when you look at, because these two leaders, if the race narrows down to William Ruto versus Raila Odinga, they are known. What they are made of is known. Their policies, their philosophies are known.
Yes.
So what do you see in them that represents the best interest of the region, if you had to make that?
Well, you know, Sam, at the end of the day, political leadership and placement is about negotiations of interest at that time. At the time when you see it. If you remember how we formed all those coalitions, you know, all the way from, 2002, coming all the way to 07, the last one even how we formed Jubilee, and so on. It is all about negotiations on the spot with who is going to come in. And so, finally, there is no way you would be saying amongst these two, and I agree with you that they are known. You know, the broader character and likelihood of this is how this one is going to be and this one is going to be is known because they've been in leadership. But as far as how do you then cut and you would say this is precisely what has been negotiated. I believe that will happen, on the spot with whatever agreement that will come out. And that's why I say, from these issues that you see came out here yesterday, because those are pertinent issues to the people of Mount Kenya region, especially this fight that I personally started in Parliament on the one man, one vote, 1 shilling. That is my baby. And how that is embraced by the people of Mount Kenya strongly. How that turns out, because of the numbers that people have in that region, is a key factor.
Right.
See, all these are the issues that they have raised here, and I'm sure you've looked at that page 5 of the Nation on how government is going to be shared. It is there, on commitment to increase the devolution fund and so on. Because for our people, and that's my final point, for the people of Mount Kenya region, majority are in two categories: farmers and business people. If you address those two issues, knowing that you're addressing a population that is huge, that is concentrated, we don't have the benefit of having huge tracts of land, so we depend on small and micro enterprises. If you balance that, then you are likely to have our people.
Right.
But let me also say that we are a proud people as Mount Kenya.
But I only have.
Let me just say.